Welcome on in. This is the Stacks on Stacks Windup. I am Derek. You may also know me from the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, and I am joined by your co-host here, the one, the only, the Boys. Robbie, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. Stacks verse. What it do? Dilly dilly. Let's get to it.
Okay, so we got to start the conversation right here off the bat. Is it Stacks versus or is it Stacks Nation? Because I'm not gonna lie, I lean towards Stacks Nation.
I lean towards Stacks Nation. I think that I just said that, in my crowded brain of thoughts, my cloud of thoughts. Yeah, it's a Stacks Nation. It's definitely Stacks Nation.
Fair enough. I just wanted to clarify out there because if I'm off, I'm gonna own that one and be like, no, it's the Stacks verse. But
Yeah,
no,
no,
we are Stacks. We are Stacks, and you join the Stacks and hop into Stacks, you get to be part of Stacks Nation, and a few things better than that. So make sure that you download. Make sure you're downloading the app. You can find it on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, or you can go on to stacksapp.io and download it that way as well. So absolutely a blast getting to talk to you about everything kind of going on and some of the highlights, some of the features going on the Stacks over the last week or so. And there's been a lot going on over the, there's been a ton of NFL news going on. There's this little thing called, March Madness starting tomorrow. The tournament actually kicking off. We've had the play-in game starting last night and some more tonight, but the official madness begins tomorrow, and it'll be interesting to see how many folks' brackets stack up. You see what I did there? Yep. Everybody's welcome for that one. Everybody's welcome. So, by the way, if you haven't joined Stackatology yet, you can easily find the link to that across any of our socials. Go ahead, hop in. You're competing for some prizing out there. We're giving away an autographed Glenn Rice jersey for for one of the prizes for the Stackatology. It's free to enter. Just hop on, fill out your bracket, play. You do have to have a Stacks account on the app in order to win the prizing, but it's a free account there as well. So, Robbie, fair to say, let's go ahead and get on into this thing. And one of our first videos we got was a bit of a big news story coming out of the NFL, and that was Russell Wilson getting traded.
With news that Russell Wilson is going to Denver, where would you rank him in fantasy football? He's got guys like Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, Tim Patrick, and others as weapons there.
Honestly, not too much higher than I had him before.
Dave's going to rate him behind where he was. None of them are better than Lockett. None of them are better than DK Metcalf.
I mean, it is a significant drop-off in my opinion, but the offensive line is way better in Denver than Russ had in Seattle.
All in on Jerry Jeudy's season. He's a spectacular wide receiver.
Oh my gosh. Mind if I just
you go
berate the fuck out of this? It truly astonishes me that we look at DK and we look at Tyler Lockett and we automatically assume, okay, just off of those two pieces, right? Russell Wilson had no tight end in Seattle. Russell Wilson had a shitty running game in Seattle. They made do with Carson and Penny was a little something down the stretch, but it was down the stretch. It was already too late. Too late at that point.
It was not the Marshawn Lynch in his prime that we saw early in Russell's career.
Yeah, you're not about to sit here and analytically tell me, okay, that Russell doesn't have an overall improvement. He has 3 receivers versus just 2. Okay.
I would argue he's got 4.
Yeah, because if you want to toss out Hamler as well.
And I'd say that he has 5 verified great receiving options there. When you add Albert Okwuegbunam in there as well.
Yep, yeah. When you talk about Albert O. So with that being said, and with that being stated, yes, DK is a monster. I love DK. I interviewed DK. Right, DK is a great friend. Has Rum Boys merch and shit. I love DK. I love Lockett as well. How often from fantasy football and reality at times meet each other. They times marry, right? How many times have you had a dud week from DK? You've had a dud week from Tyler Lockett. How many times
All the
last season?
time?
Yeah, all the time. How many times last season did that also, from a reality standpoint, negatively affect the Seahawks on field because you couldn't run the two in tandem? Defenses knew, oh, if I take Lockett out the game, it's all on DK. If I take DK out the game, it's all on Lockett. And that team is actually far better when it is a Lockett game and it's having a Lockett day. DK does have some drops. He did deal with the dropsies, last year. And he also has this, mental thing where it's very easy to get in his head and piss him off. Giving him better options, more calm, cool, collective, level-headed options, an amazing route runner in Jerry Jeudy. You're not about to sit here and tell me that no, hell no. You're insane to think that he doesn't improve and that Denver overall isn't improving. Then he's also going to have a defense that's going to get him the ball back freaking at least 2 times a game. Whether that be from sack or interception, when you have, all the pieces that are bringing in defensively. You got Patrick Surtain back there, who was locked down last year, who's so good last year, PS2. What are we talking about that Russell doesn't go to a better situation? I can't.
All right, he goes to a defense. He goes to a team that has a top 5 defense and has had a great defense for several years now, right? Like, they do incredibly well on that side of the ball. This is probably one of the best offensive lines that he's had in his entire career. Not only that, he gets one great young running back in Javonte Williams, who, by the way, led the NFL in broken tackles last year. Like, the dude's a beast and can flat out go. It would not surprise me to see them bring back a Melvin Gordon as well. And you see the great 1-2 punch that you see back there. Like, you just could not do that. And you're able to keep both guys fresh throughout the whole season. Couple that on the other side of the ball. Okay, straight up, if you're comparing some of these guys, is DK Metcalf better than Courtland Sutton? Maybe. There's an argument to be made there from a measurable standpoint. But Courtland Sutton is a big body contested catch type of receiver who last year, again, came out the gate a little slow coming off of that ACL. And it wasn't until partway through the season we started seeing him really get that confidence back in the knee. Same thing, too. You flip it over there with Jerry Jeudy. Amazing route runner, like you already said. And I love the fact everybody talks, well, but he drops the ball all the time. Okay.
He had freaking Drew Lock and Teddy Roosevelt as his quarterbacks.
Yep. So you didn't have great quarterback play there to begin with. Tim Patrick is a sneaky. Like, Tim Patrick could legitimately be the second best wide receiver on a lot of NFL teams. On a lot of NFL teams. And he's Denver's 3. So here's the beautiful thing. You can put 2 6'4" wide receivers on the outside, playing the X and the Y, and then run Jerry Jeudy as the Z running out of there. Not only that, you've also got Albert Okwuegbunam, a big body athletic tight end that can do that. And oh, by the way, you can spring KJ Hamler in here, who's a speed guy, has a little bit of water bug mentality to him when he catches the ball, and it can make some things happen with some yak going there too. So absolutely, like, it. I don't know how you can drop him in your rankings on this one. You want to tell me that maybe you're not a believer in the finger, that he's back from that thing. Okay, fine. Maybe I'll believe that, but again, like that's really the only leg that you have to stand on. His situation improved. Russ is a gamer. He goes out and he's got the mentality just to go out and win. This Broncos team has been searching for a quarterback now for 6-7 years, and they will make a deep run. Like, I love the fact that it was, Russ was a top 5 quarterback in Seattle. He's not, he might be the top 3 quarterback in his division. We ain't seen Herbert do it yet. Here's the thing. You can take and twist a billion different narratives, however you want to, What I personally feel like people are looking at the receiving course, and they're looking at how like the measurables and stuff like that, and that's where we're getting off. Say this, when we look at
when you have the Ryan Clarks of the world going on ESPN, well, Russ isn't a Hall of Fame caliber, quarterback, or isn't get that. I completely understand, so on and so forth. Let's be real. The homie's been doing it at a high level for a really long time. It's kind of hard to deny just really true greatness. You give him, and we already know, if you give him the pieces, he can get to the dance. You're insane.
I do love that argument that people make. Well, Russ isn't a Hall of Fame QB, but yet those same people in the next sentence turn around and go, Matt Stafford is.
And that's exactly, yeah.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. So, Robbie, I think you and I are both on the same page here, and I think that Russ gets only better here in Denver, and you're going to see, I don't know if Denver has a history of taking good quarterbacks, great quarterbacks late in their career and making a couple of Super Bowl runs here. So we'll see how that one plays out. And I like it. Let's go ahead and just move on, though. We also talked about some conference championship college basketball going on, which was last week and fading into Selection Sunday. Let's go ahead and look at that one.
It's the Friday before Selection Sunday, and then March Madness is coming up next week. What games this weekend are going to totally alter seeding, rankings, whatever you think is going to happen, whatever is expected to happen in conference play?
Our Virginia Tech against my North Carolina Tar Heels.
AAC semifinal. Memphis going up against SMU. Penny Hardaway's squad is on the bubbles.
But you got to look at Virginia Tech as well. If they can upset Duke tonight, they will be a bid steal.
Richmond going up against Davidson right now. Richmond has beaten Dayton and VCU to get here. Two teams that might have an at-large bid.
Purdue versus Iowa. Iowa not favored in this game, but they've been shooting the lights out in this tournament.
Yeah, the one that I really thought was going to have an impact, and it didn't, was Oklahoma beating Baylor in the Big 12 championship tournament. And it would amaze me. Like, I really thought that you would have seen an unranked Oklahoma team beating Baylor on a neutral court. I would have figured that would have knocked them off of a 1 seed. I would have seen that also probably pushing Oklahoma over the hump and getting one of those last at-large bids, being like one of the last 4 in, and it just didn't happen. Neither of those came to fruition there, so I was a little surprised that one didn't have more of an impact on this bracket.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely that Virginia Tech Duke game. By the way, shout out to Virginia Tech and shout Tar Heels, both beating Duke this year and both winning me some money this year because of that. But to the weekend that just passed, Virginia Tech upsetting Duke was so huge. They're sitting there, what is it, 11 right now in the bracket. Look out for Virginia Tech to make some noise. This team, I could see them maybe not getting bounced until maybe like the 16th at best, like the Sweet 16 at best. Do I think that they're going to be like an Elite 8 or a Final Four team? No. But look for them to make some noise. Look for Virginia Tech to make some noise and win people a lot of money those first couple of steps through the tournament. First couple of rounds.
I like it. Well, you know what? We're talking about March Madness. Let's go ahead, and we had some different brackets being broken down, different divisions being broken down on the app there. And let's go ahead and take a look at the West Division here.
The West Region March Madness bracketology. Let's go!
I mean, call it a hot take, but I got the Memphis Tigers upsetting the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
You already know in the West, it's Gonzaga's corner to lose.
Vermont, man. Vermont with Ryan Davis down low. Sneaky team to watch.
One word is all you need to know about the West. Gonzaga.
Duke. I see them losing Michigan State in the second round.
I don't like how Duke is playing.
Don't sleep on the Red Raiders. Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, still one of the better defensive teams in the NCAA.
Duke, obviously, Coach K's let's go. They're going to be fired up. I think they're going to be playing hard for him. He's going to have them ready to go.
Duke isn't the same team that they've been.
Thursday can't come soon enough.
Duke is not the same team they've been. I love everyone's takes there surrounding Duke. Actually, when I filled out my bracket, we were on air Monday night.
Yep.
I filled out while we were doing this show, and I have Duke beating the 15 seed CSU Fullerton, and then from there losing to Michigan State. So yeah, it's gonna. I think Duke gets bounced early, and Gonzaga really makes a run for the Final Four.
Yeah, Duke. I don't see them getting. Maybe if they even get through the second round, I don't see them making it past the Sweet 16. So that's about as far as I see this team taking a run, which kind of a disappointing end to such a storied career of Coach K, especially with the high expectations that this team had coming into the season, especially with some of the talent that they put around with, just some of the talent that they had on the roster there. So, this is one too that I did like the Sauce Boss's hot take there of Memphis and Gonzaga. That's one too to keep an eye out there because Memphis has been playing incredibly hot down the stretch. And Gonzaga playing in the WCC hasn't necessarily been as battle tested as a lot of one seeds typically are. So it could make some interesting things there. And I think that game will be close, but I do think that Gonzaga will ultimately pull it out.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga ultimately pulls out. Gonzaga has like a history of, like, we always say the same thing every year. Well, who do they play? Da 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 da. And then they end up, surprising us and going very far in the tourney. So for me, I'm going off of history with that one. I'm going to take Gonzaga to move forward out of that first round. Then they have to take on Memphis, and I think that they just barely beat Memphis. So
yeah, I think that one's going to be very close. And you're right, but most years too, right? Like even looking back at the history, Gonzaga is typically so dominant throughout their season and their play. Like it's one of those that when they lose one or two games, it's like, oh, well, they just had a bad night and they looked off. They had a few of those this year where they just didn't look like they were playing up to their potential and didn't really look like they were playing very well. Didn't even necessarily look like it was just an off game here or there. It looked like they actually had some issues going down throughout some of those games there. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, and just glad to see the tournament starting tomorrow. So one of the other things that we got talking about there quite a bit was, one of the trending topics out there was LeBron talking about how he, people don't consider him one of the all-time top scorers. And of course, Stacks had to talk about it.
Is LeBron James on the Mount Rushmore of scorers?
I'm not sure why this is even a question.
Mikey, a lot of guys would believe he doesn't.
Why would he not be?
You cannot deny what he has done. You can't leave him off there. No matter how much you hate it, he's on there.
So that put him in the top 4 of scorers in the NBA all time? Let me say no.
If you've scored more points than anybody else in the history of the NBA, you should be on the Mount Rushmore of scoring.
But when my man did what he did last night and passed out of a moment to score, to get a bucket, he ain't do it. He can have the points. It's not a Mount Rushmore scorer. KD's a better scorer than him.
Because someone will be, oh, well, obviously Michael's up there. Oh, Kobe's got to be there. Someone's going to say, oh, Kevin Durant, he's a better scorer. And then, throw in some other silly fourth person.
And let me translate to Spanish. No.
Obviously.
I like Bo's take there. Let me translate that to Spanish. The answer's still no.
Yeah. Look, yes. Is he one of the greatest scorers of all time? Yes. It may not be flashy. It may not be that Steph Curry, Larry Bird, 3-point special type of deal. He's really good, down low. But he also, I like watching LeBron. I enjoyed watching the Mamba better. I enjoy watching Kobe better. Jordan just had like that killer instinct. I'm not saying that LeBron doesn't have it. It's just maybe it's because I'm old. And I grew up watching, a lot of those greats. He has the stats. He has the points and everything, but he also played like in a very different NBA. And I don't know. It's a very touchy thing with LeBron. Like, you can't deny greatness, but I'm not gonna.
It's not that touchy with me. I'm gonna side with the Bo in his take there that no, and the answer is still no, that I wouldn't put him on the Mount Rushmore of scoring. And here's why, right? Like, let's deconstruct this one a little bit, right? So would you put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a top scorer in the NBA?
Yeah.
You would? What about Karl Malone?
Obviously.
Okay. Is Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant?
Yeah, for just talking about scoring.
Just scoring. That's it. It's Mount
Yeah.
Rushmore scoring. So Kevin Durant. What about Pistol Pete?
Yeah.
Allen Iverson? Okay, so that's the cutoff. That's the line there, right? Like
the scoring, like AI is a tough one. Because I love him. I love him for his flash and like the quick handles. I don't look at him as, but he was a great scorer too. But I don't look at him as like, I put him on. I put AI on like the Mount Rushmore of like handles and shit like that.
Right, and that was the thing, is he was kind of that scorer, right? Didn't necessarily play great defense. Like that was what he was known for, was getting to the bucket and scoring. And so that's why I kind of bring those up, right? So like, and for me, where I'm drawing the line at the scoring is, you brought up a point earlier where you said killer instinct, right? Like,
yeah,
when it's a score, right, and you've got somebody that like is a true alpha scorer out there, they want the ball in their hands. They want to take that last shot. They want to be the closer of the game, right? And we've seen that happen time and time again, where LeBron is very happy to pass the ball off to somebody else to let them take the final shot. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's playing good situational basketball. That's playing smart basketball. That's playing good team basketball. Like there is a lot of great things that you can say about somebody that's willing to pass out of a shot that might be contested, may not be the best shot there, to get to a guy that does that. But in my mind, it has a hard time being that guy that puts it on as a true scorer, being one of the greatest scorers of all time, right? Like when I'm talking about the Mount Rushmore, I'm talking about the dude that is going to his first instinct is going to be to shoot the ball, to score the ball, and is going to do it at a high success rate. And with LeBron, he's, like I said, he's very willing to pass the ball away. He's willing to play great team basketball, willing to play smart basketball. So I can't knock him for any of those things there. But one of the things that I don't know that I've seen over the career is that killer instinct that you brought up there, right? And the guys that I would put on the Mount Rushmore above him would be guys that have the killer instinct, or the guys that there's 2 seconds left on the clock. Give me the ball. I'm going to find a way to score this bucket and win the game for us. And then not only have that mentality, but also have the stats to back it up for a long-term career type of base. So that's where I kind of do it. And that's how I kind of deconstruct that argument there.
I like that take. I respect that.
So before we get into our next one there, right, we have a comment coming in on the YouTube Slam Dunk asking, excited for March Madness. So are we. And, great show. We appreciate you tuning in there. USC, a long shot. Let me know. And Robbie, I think I know what your opinions are on USC, but I'm going to let you tell it.
University of Spoiled Children, as I like to nickname them. Look, USC could be a surprise throughout this tournament. Whenever I filled out my bracket Monday night in the Midwest Division, I actually have them. I have them making it all the way to, I want to say, the Sweet 16. I do have them making it into the Sweet 16. And then in which they would have to take on Kansas, and I do have Kansas winning that, unfortunately. But I wouldn't be shocked if USC shocked us all.
In the Sweet 16, the teams that they would potentially be able to take on would be LSU, Iowa State, Wisconsin, or Colgate. It would be in the following round that you would see them.
Or
potentially take that on in the Elite Eight.
The Elite Eight. I mean, I'm looking at the ESPN side. The way they have the brackets all organized is weird.
Yeah.
So I have them making it into the Elite Eight. And then from there I have Kansas moving on, which would make our Final Four. But I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if USC shocked the world at all. I think that it might be a decent strategy. If you're going to be filling like a ton of brackets, it might be a decent strategy to go ahead and put in one that has them going all the way.
Yeah, I could certainly see what you're saying there, and I could definitely get behind that, right? But there's a couple of things when you look at these things, right? When Miami plays similar teams to how USC plays, Miami tends to win those games there. So they've got a interesting matchup there. As far as that goes, Miami also tends to put up more games, but they put up more points per game, but they also allow more points per game. So
Yeah.
they're a little bit faster paced. They're a little bit more run and gun. They're more willing to put points on the board, but they also surrender some more. So I think that you will see USC, get out of the first round. I think they make it into the Sweet. I could see them making it into the Sweet 16. But the reason that would be is I do think that Jacksonville State against Auburn, like that could be a very, very sneaky way that you see like an upset brewing of a 15 versus a 9. It could happen that Jacksonville State team has some sneaky upside there and has some sneaky play there. So Auburn's also been fading down the stretch. So that's USC's run is going to depend heavily on what Auburn does. If they take care of business in round 1, I think you'll see USC make their exit in round 2. If Jacksonville State manages to pull the upset, you'll probably see USC advance to the Sweet 16. And that's kind of where I think that their run will ultimately end.
Eat your heart out, Charles Barkley.
So there you go. So Slam Dunk, I hope that answered your question there. Again, if you guys have questions, you can always hit up the Stacks, download the Stacks apps, hop on there. We're always on there chatting back and forth. There's got folks that, we got folks on there and creators on there that will absolutely hop in there and talk up with you across March Madness. Ton of topics going on, but we're going to go ahead and head to our last topic of the show here. And we've got a new partner that we're kind of working with here. And that's some Pickup, the guys over at Pickup. And they've got a great one that they dropped on the app earlier today. Let's go ahead and hit it up.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Darnell from Pickup, and we got a great question/prop for you. Who will win the NCAA Men's Basketball National Championship? All the number 1 seeds are heavy hitters.
I actually have all 4 number 1 seeds making the Final Four.
I'm picking the Jayhawks. I'm rocking with Kansas.
Baylor still has all the keys to win.
My pick for the record is the Kansas Jayhawks.
I'm going to go with the Arizona Wildcats to win the national title. I feel like Arizona is the most complete team and not Gonzaga.
Kansas Jayhawks.
But on a side note, this might be the worst collective group of number 2 seeds that we've seen in a long time.
Don't sleep on the number 2 seeds.
The University of Alabama, baby.
So just hit that link below, make your pick.
Love it.
I
stand by that. I honestly believe that this is probably the worst collection of number 2 seeds as a group that we've seen in the tournament in a long time. Right? Like there's a lot of years that we sit there and go, oh my gosh, how did that team get to a number 2 seed? Like they should have been a 1 seed. This is very much yep, they all are number 2s. And some of these squads are like, how did they get a number 2? They probably should have been a number 3, number 4, even in some cases. Like none of those number 2 seeds are playing great basketball down the stretch. Like Duke, not playing good basketball down the stretch here. Auburn, not playing great basketball down the stretch here. Villanova's been incredibly streaky. Kentucky's doing what Kentucky does, but I don't know, man. This is one of those that I just cannot get behind these number 2 seeds, and this is one of those that I do firmly believe that we'll see at least 115 over a 2 this year.
I think the only 2 seed that I have advancing somewhat to a distance is Kentucky.
Yeah.
Even on that one, I was a little wishy-washy. I feel like that was kind of like the hardest one to pick. I have Kentucky beating St. Peter's, but then they would have to go up against Murray State, and that was the one where I have Kentucky winning, but I feel like Murray State could like upset them. But I got Kentucky, eventually, make it to where they would face off against Virginia Tech and then trailing off right after that, about like the Sweet 16-ish. So yeah, I think that they'll probably have the best bet. I think USC will beat Miami. Auburn will somehow beat Jacksonville State, even though I don't want it to happen. And then you'll see USC versus Auburn, and Auburn will get bounced. Then I have Loyola Chicago bouncing Villanova in the second round. I have Michigan State bouncing Duke in the second round. So yeah, I think we're pretty much on par with the 2 seeds.
Yeah, I mean this is collectively. I cannot remember another field in the last several years here where we looked at it and goes, man, this number 2 seed is has like there's just not that that's just that favorite that's playing out there that you see making a deep run, and you're penciling in his Final Fours. Like, most of the time you're looking and you're taking a hard look in a lot of these second rounds, going, are they even going to be able to make it past the second round into the Sweet 16? So it could be very, very rough for all these 2 seeds. Another question coming in, Slam Dunk, saying, thanks for the analysis as a long shot. Since we're talking about long shots, what about the Iowa? They are 2-11 since February 10th, and they are on fire. Let me know.
I believe it was Leafs defense, one of our viewers Monday night that brought up Iowa. I think Iowa can go pretty far, but gets bounced by Kansas. I think Iowa can make a decent push, but once you get around that Sweet 16 area, I think that's when they go bye to Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas looks tough, and that's what I'll say, right? Like, Iowa's going to play Richmond right off the bat there, and I think that they're going to get by Richmond. Then they would most likely, this is one of those two, because South Dakota State and those Jackrabbits, they are a shooting team, and they can get hot. And just like, Robbie, you're a fight fan, and just like that, if you've got somebody with a heavy punch, you've always got that puncher chance. And in March Madness, if you've got a team that can shoot and get hot, you've got a shooter's chance in here. So, South Dakota State could potentially cause some issues there, but I do think that you'll see Providence win that first round there. And Iowa, Providence, again, a tough matchup there. I think Iowa would advance, but I see them right about that same spot as you are. I have a very tough time finding a way for them to make it past Kansas when it's all said and done, because Kansas does look to be like a little bit of a juggernaut on that top half of that bracket there. So cool. Well, any final thoughts out there for the listeners and viewers?
Just join our Stackatology tournament. If you guys have not already, I'm actually going to go ahead and just drop the link for you guys here in the YouTube channel chat for you. We'll drop it right now. But yeah, join our tournament. Get in there. I think we got we're almost at about a 35, 40 man ish pool. So yeah, definitely get into our March Madness tournament. Prove yourselves up against some of the best of the best, and also win tons of autographed prizes. We got the Glenn Rice jersey that we've been promoting, one of the greatest college basketball players of all time. So make sure that you guys get out there, and check it out. Compete against myself and Derek. Take Derek's crown.
Yeah, it's still my title, still my crown, until somebody pries it from my hands, and I'm not going to make it easy this year. So, absolutely right. And it was funny. I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day. They're like, Glenn Rice really wasn't that. Glenn Rice had the best March Madness run, a single March Madness run in the history of the game. And I'll argue that point until I'm blue in the face. 1989, won a championship, put up the most points scored in a single March Madness. So again, a topic that you can hop on there and you can chat with me about on the Stacks app, which, in order to go ahead and hop on to the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, download that there today, or you can go to stacksapp.io and download it that way as well. He's Run Boys Robbie. I'm Derek from the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Do us a favor, hit us up on all the Stacks socials at Join Stacks app, wherever you're at, and hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Most importantly, download the app. Have a good one. Be safe.